Hey everybody, Mark back with the perfect portfolio, and we're talking with one of our students, and he actually was referred to us from one of our other students, and we're just chatting today about how his life is changing. And so, Shawn, just tell us a little bit about yourself, man. We have people from every background in this course. Just tell us a little bit about yourself and where are you, family, all that good stuff.
So, I live somewhat near the Myrtle Beach area.
Cool.
Um, I work in North Myrtle Beach in construction. I'm a project manager for a site work development company. Um, we stay pretty busy. I have a wife and three little girls. They all keep me very busy. So between that combination, I'm very limited on time, so I'm moving around pretty often on
I,
the road.
I remember that the first time we met, there was they were all climbing, they were everywhere. So that's cool. Yeah, I see you're saying very busy. So now, obviously, you're obviously you're taking an interest in finances now. But did you grow up around finances? Like they said, there was we're a construction family also. So were you growing up around any? Was there talk about money, finances, investing when you were growing up?
Um, Not really. I mean, it was typical, um, you know, get a good job and pay your bills on time and you need to go to school. I didn't go to school. I don't have, something to fall back on. So you need to go to school. Um, I had the entrepreneur, gene in my family. My grandfather, he employed probably close to 200 people. He was in textiles manufacturing before it went overseas.
Okay. Yep.
So I got to see that from afar at a young age. And then my father, he was in that with my granddad.
Okay.
And that was kind of the only thing he knew was clothing. So once that plug got pulled, he went and started his own men's clothing store. So, but then '08 hit. And then that's when that pitch kind of came, look, I'm struggling. You're watching me struggle.
Yeah.
I don't want you to have to experience this. So get a good job and hopefully set you up some good retirement.
Right. So they were probably told you save money, pay your taxes, get good credit, put money in a retirement account. Was that kind of the
Oh yeah.
direction?
Don't be risky like me.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah, my dad was we were a construction family. We never had any money. My dad just told me, Mark, you're never going to get rich working for somebody else. So I didn't know what I was going to do, but I also hated school. You could not keep me in school. I was like, I
Yeah.
got better stuff to do than listen to these teachers. And so that we have that in common. We definitely didn't like school very much. So before you came to the course, what were you doing to raise your financial IQ? I think you had read like Rich Dad Poor Dad, which most people have, but what were you doing?
Well, I was pretty ignorant for the longest while up until about a year and a half ago. And I was talking with some guys at work and I was looking around at some younger people who were doing their own thing, starting their own businesses. And I'm like, man, they're doing pretty well. What can I do? So I started dabbling in real estate a little bit and
Yeah.
getting my financial IQ up. Reading Rich Dad Poor Dad. Reading, man, I when I get in a role, I start devouring books.
Yeah.
So research. I'm pretty familiar with land. I mean, that's what I do for a living.
Right.
Site
Yeah.
work construction. So when I see a piece of property, I know, the handful of things I really need to dig into to make sure it's a good piece of property. And so I took a risk and bought some raw land and flipped it within about 4 weeks and made very well. And I was like, then the
Hmm.
light just went off, and
Yeah.
I was like, this is something here. So let's continue. What else can I do?
Yep. Yeah, and you had a competitive advantage there because you kind of work in that industry. You could look at land. Like I'm not a land guy, but when I buy real estate, I know there's certain things I can check. I know it's a great investment before I buy it because I also know the tax advantages that we're using to not pay taxes when buying it. So it's all about raising your financial IQ, right? And so I definitely have an interest in getting some land around Tennessee because there's some amazing properties all over the place around here. So we'll have to have that conversation another time there, Jose. You know what I mean? We'll
Yeah.
swap some good knowledge here. So you're reading books, and then you were talking to a coworker at work, and they were a student of the Perfect Portfolio. Is that right?
Yep. Brian came to me and he knew I was already kind of on the fringe of, having certain aspects of this portfolio. Um, but I was missing, out of the five, I was missing, three or four other things. He was like, well, it looks like you're trying to do what I've been introduced to. Let me tell you about it. And
Yeah.
he was talking about your course, and he's enjoyed what he's learned so far. And so he introduced me to it, and I sat in on the two free classes, probably 10, 12 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, this is pretty valuable here. I'd like to check out some more. So you offered the course.
Yeah.
So I hopped on board and we sat down for 8 weeks, and you and I had spoke once or twice, in person or, over the phone or whatnot. And
Yeah.
the communication has been great. The knowledge has been wonderful. The education has been wonderful. So
Cool. Cool. Now, are there any specific strategies on the course you feel have the greatest impact on your family's financial future?
yeah, just knowing that there's a lot of options, a lot of things to pull from. You can be diversified very quickly and very easily, if you know what to put money towards. I still am pretty ignorant with the stock market and
Yeah.
that stuff. So I'm learning the M1 things new to me. So I'm kind of tiptoeing into it. But I mean, numbers are numbers. I'm a numbers guy. I got an
Yeah.
engineering background, so um, if you see the numbers working in your favor, that's what they're doing. Whether you have a big stash or a little stash of money.
Yeah,
So
well, good. All of our students start out with baby steps, and for the people watching, we start our students with $100 in a brokerage account, right? And there's no charges to invest it, and there's some pretty good features in there. So, yeah. Now, is there any like, can you share a personal story of how something you strategy has changed your family's financial future?
we've touched on a little bit already. The real estate stuff, just I'm more familiar with it. And I'd like to get more involved with it. That kind of be my bigger item,
Okay.
to take bigger strides into, with the tax advantages and just I'm really interested in just looking into the stock stuff.
Yep.
Um, because I'm seeing, even just from the basic, this isn't stock related, but just from the M1 account, the savings account or the cash account.
Yep.
I mean, people are locking their money away at banks trying to get 4 to 5% return when I got it liquid sitting in M1, 5% return. And I mean, I've never had that before.
Right. Yeah. The average bank pays 0.01% is what people
Yeah.
in their mega banks or whatever. And you can get
Yeah.
0.5% right now and fully insured up to like $3 million. So people are getting robbed at the banks. And again, I wrote a book against the banking industry, so I've been preaching this one for a long time. So when you came in the course, at what age did you feel like you could become financially free? Was that even is that something you thought of like, oh, I'm going to become financially independent at whatever age?
No, I mean, I have a W-2 job currently and I enjoy what I do, but working for somebody else doesn't get you rich and it doesn't get you to retire early. And, um, I didn't see myself retiring for a very long time. Especially, I'm 35 years old. My generation, we don't have. We'll be lucky to have a Social Security. There's no pensions anymore. That's a thing in the past.
Yeah.
401ks, I think they're a joke. But uh, I just there you have to think outside the box to have any kind of money growing for you, and I didn't really have that.
Right.
Um,
For
and
sure.
so
Well, You're 35. 40 is pretty easy in this course to get financially independent. So that's a pretty easy number. It's pretty well a pretty conservative number, because I know we have, the other testimonials, people think they're going to work till they're going to die, and then our testimonials, they're able to retire within a year or two, depending on how much the assets they have. But no, people don't need to be 65 to retire. Retire at, if you're 35, or look at retirement by 40, but retire to do something you love, right? So I don't need to work, but this is fun for me. Like financial education's definitely my passion. So now, how do you see your life changing in the next 12 to 24 months because of what you learned?
A bit. Um, I want to dial in on some numbers some more, but I want to get a steady drip, each week into the M1 account,
Yeah,
build that up, and really utilize that borrow button, and fight inflation with inflation, because Lord knows we've been hit pretty hard with inflation, and that's the only way you're kind of going to dig out of it.
right.
Um,
Yeah.
got to counteract it. So, um, I personally would like to see in 24 months, I'd like to have 8 to 10 rental properties.
Sweet. A 10 rental properties. Cool. Awesome. And then that would probably make you financially independent pretty fast, right?
Yeah, my wife and I, she's an attorney, but she pulled away from work to spend time with our children. We have 3 little girls, and she homeschools them,
Yeah.
so they're getting, in my opinion, top-notch education from an attorney at a very young age. They're thinking very logically about things already at such a young age. I want them around mom, because
Yep.
and if that's the sacrifice we had to make for, to just have one income, which is mine, I need to see what else I can get into to get another source of income. And then,
Yeah.
I just need multiple sources of income.
Yep. For sure. Well, we'll definitely meet after this. We'll go through optimize and build you some more income streams. So finally, reflect on your experience in the course that you were referring from a student. What advice would you give to somebody who's maybe considering the perfect portfolio? What would you tell them?
Take everything that you've learned, which is probably uh, pretty general for the most part for everybody, and just dump it into trash as far as money management, because it's good to save money, but it's not growing for you. Uh, and I listen to a lot of podcasts and stuff, and one guy put it in perspective that if you're trading time for money, you're a slave to the money. I
Yeah.
don't like being a slave to anything. So,
Yeah.
except to Christ. And, I want to, I want to switch that. I want my money to be a slave to me. So,
Yep, definitely, definitely. Now you said fighting inflation with inflation. Just for people who don't know, if you when you borrow money, it creates money. You create money, you don't work for it, and you don't tax it. You're not taxed on it. So the rich people use debt to make money. The poor and middle class use ridiculous 401ks and retirement accounts, which is completely a scam created by Wall Street and big government, to basically turn your family into a passive income stream for Wall Street. So we're going to teach you things that are very different. They're very much opposite. And it sounds like you're kind of on the right path there, Shawn. It's like, but again, I give you my word that you'll be financially independent by 40, probably earlier, the way you're driven there. And then obviously we just need to have you pay no taxes on all that income. If you're okay with that too.
well, yeah, definitely okay with that.
Okay, good. Well, I'm just about finishing the book on how ordinary people can pay no taxes too. So, anyways, that's gonna be awesome. Well, hey, great having you in the course. Thanks for taking the time to talk to us today. And we're not gonna have another live class until January for the perfect portfolio. But if somebody else is watching this and you're interested, message us. There's a video course. We have lots of different things you can start raising your financial IQ. And of course, occasionally I'll meet with you and we'll show you how to start with $100 and investment cash. All right, guys. And Shawn, and we'll chat again soon.